Okay. Let me make it a full screen. Let me see how far it will go. Okay, the view is a little bit red. Let's see display. Okay, I'm going to log in. I don't think that's the password. Except I have to watch one of my videos to remember what password I used. Let's see. I can't even remember what I typed now. Okay. Are you guys all on your computers as well? Can you see my computer? Okay, that's my taskbar. And of course, it's confirming my network. Do you see now? So I'm going to click on work. This is called network profile, okay? Because I'm connecting to a corporate network. Because any corporate network, which is a company network, should be what? Workplace, So I'm going to click close now. Okay. Now, what I asked you guys to do was to go to your start menu. I've actually disabled my search icon here, so I can just go to programs, accessories. I can click on run. Now, then I can type CMD. I'll press enter. It brings me up to where? The command what? Prompt. Are we together? Now the next thing I need to type it's IP config. Now if I press enter, you will notice I have exactly the same IP address like you guys. Is that not correct? Now this is what we mean by IP config is called IP configuration. So it only gives us the basic. Are we together? It gives us the basic configuration that allows us to be able to communicate with the network. Very basic. Now, remember, you guys are all connected to Network Plus 2, right? Just like I am also connected to Network Plus 2 as well. But because I'm using the bridge adapter through the VirtualBox. Gary, can I have your IP address? Can you tell me your IP address? 192.168.5.193. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to ping Gregory's IP address to see if I will get a reply. So I'm going to press enter. Did you see he's replying? Did you see he's replying? It means that my computer is able to communicate. But you see towards the ending there was a timeout, right? Meaning there was a loss of packets. Okay, let me try it again. Let me see if it will lose this time. Is there any loss again? So you see how network works. Are we together? Okay. This is called pinging, meaning I was trying to ping whether he is on the network, but I will need his IP address for me to do what? To ping. Are we following? To see if I can be able to send and what? Receive at the same time from him. But that's not what I want to concentrate on now. What I want to concentrate on is the concept of this IP address. This IP address is issued to me by who? The DHCP server. Is that not correct? Remember, the DHCP server issues you IP address automatically. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how do we now get to see all the information concerning this IP configuration? I want to see everything. I want to see the DHCP server. I want to see the DNS servers. I want to see other information I cannot see here. What we need to do is to now type, can everybody follow me? We'll now type ipconfig space / we type ipconfig, you can look at my screen, space / all. Are we together? Then you press enter. Wow. There's a whole lot of information. Is that not correct? Number one, it starts with the name of my computer as well. Is that not correct? Can you see my network name, my computer name? Then it tells me what type of node I'm using. It says I'm using a hybrid node. It says IP routing enabled. It says no. If we scroll down, it tells me the name of my network adapter, right? It also tells me the name of my IP address. It also tells me my lease duration. Of course, the reason why it's telling me this lease duration is because I'm getting my IP address from who? The DHCP server. Is that not correct? Because DHCP leases IP. It does not give you the IP address permanently. The next information you see there is called what? Default what? And that's my default gateway. Is that not correct? Do all of you also have identical default gateway as mine? Huh? Is my gateway the same as yours? Class? Yes. But there's only one thing that is different from you and I. It's what? The IP what? Is the IP address different from yours as well? Mine ends with 198. And I believe some of you yours end with a different number other than my number. Exactly. The IP address will always change, but the default gateway will always what? Remain what? The same. Because this is the line that connects you to what? Another what? Network. That is the router. Now, if you check the DHCP server, that's the IP address. Then, of course, if you scroll down, you will see DNS servers. Do you see DNS servers? So your DNS server is also the same as your what? Your default what? Gateway. So usually, most default gateways are also residing on the DNS as well, because they're the one that takes you out of the internet to other network. So guys, when you are asked any information that contains any of these information that are written here, you will then need to use the IP configuration protocol, which is what? ipconfig / what? All. Okay. But guys, we already know that our computer is currently issued IP address dynamically, right? By using the DHCP server. What I want us to do, I want us to be able to assign our IP address statically so that we can be able to communicate locally without what? A router. We're going to manually do it. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a range of an IP address that I'm going to assign to each of you right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open Notepad. Then I'm going to type a different range of an IP address. I'm going to type 192.168.6.1 to 16. So Gregory, your IP address is what? 1, U, 2, U, 3, the next person, 4, U, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and what? 16. So our default subnet mask will be what? Who can tell me what's the default subnet mask of this IP address? What's the default? 255? Dot what? Dot what? Dot what? What class is this? What class is it? Class C. The first 3 octet is what? The network ID. And the last octet is what? The host ID. Always remember, based on the IP address, it tells you what is the what? Subnet mask. Okay, I'm going to minimize right now. So now we're going to assign the IP address. Remember, I given you your number, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my network adapter. Do you see my network adapter here? Huh? I can right click and say open network and sharing what? Center. If I click on that, the network and sharing center control panel is going to open. But remember, this is an option that you can also use as well. I can close, I can decide to use the old-fashioned way, traditional way. I will go to start menu, control panel, then I will come to the icon here and put it on category. Then I can go to network and what? Internet. If I click network and internet, I will come to network and sharing what? Center. Did this still take me to the same place and the same location? So actually, this is actually much faster. Is that not correct? Just in case, that's why I'm explaining it. Now the next thing we want to do, we want to configure the network adapter, which means our network adapter with a static IP address we have set up already. Remember, we're only giving IP address dynamically, right? Now we'll go to change adapter settings. Click on that. Change adapter settings. Did you notice that you see local area network connection? Did you see that? Local area network connection. Network 2, right? Okay, mine shows network 2, but I don't know what yours shows. But you see local area network connection, right? Those of you, some of you who are using your real computer, you will see wireless network connection. Are we together? Yours should be wireless because you're using your real computer. Because remember, I'm on the virtual environment. So what you need to do, click on that wireless network adapter card, right click and say property. Right click, say property. Have you done that? Did you notice that we have 2 versions of IP address? We have what? IP version what? 6 and what? So we are actually concentrating on 4. Is that not correct? So click on IP version 4 now. Click on IP version 4. Did you see properties? Click on it. What is our current settings? Class? Obtain IP address what? Automatically. Is that not correct? Look at the settings, guys. It says obtains IP address what? So we're going to be changing everything. So we'll say use the following what? Because we want to manually what? Assign the IP address. If you take this option, it means that a DHCP server will do what? Assign, just like we have already. But right now we want to statically assign it. So we're going to come here. So remember, I'm going to type 192.168.6. Then I will use my arrow key or your mouse. Then my number was what? What's my number? What's my number? 11. Okay. So those of you, your number is 10 or 18 or 16 or 17. Now put your number there. Yes, which is the host ID. Because remember, we are typing a class what? A class what? C. Now, you know one thing you're going to do? Press the tab key. You see something will happen. The moment you press the tab key on your keyboard, did you notice it automatically gives you the subnet mask? Yes. Did you see it? Yes. Without you putting it in. So the computer can recognize the classes as well. Are we together? Okay. We're going to say, we're going to leave the DNS empty because we don't need DNS. So we're going to click on OK. Can you click on the OK button? Then we're going to click close. So it's going to try to see, it's going to say on the unidentified network, it's fine. And it's going to automatically change it to a public network, right? Because it could not identify what? The network. Are we together? Huh? Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back again. I'm going to do IP config. I'm going to say CLS to erase everything. Then I'm going to type ipconfig. Press enter. Has the IP address changed? Has it changed? Is there any gateway? There's no more gateway, right? Because we took it out, right? So, but remember, we are still connected to Network Plus 2. So now, Network Plus 2 wireless is actually not doing its job because we are taking advantage of it by using it as a switch. Gregory, what's your IP address?
6.1.
So let me ping Gregory. Let's see if I'll be able to ping him. 192.168.6.what? 1. Am I able to ping Gregory? Am I able to ping him? Am I able to ping him? Okay, ping your colleague. The person that is close to you, tell him to give his IP address. Then you ping. Gregory, you can ping mine. Mine is 11. Yes. So ping to see if they are replying. You will notice that each of you will be replying each other. You can ping mine. That's my IP address, .11. So right now, the router is acting like a switch for us, but wirelessly. So this is like a private network we've just created. We've created our own private network. Gregory, is he replying? No, P. That's 192. Just follow the way I've typed it in 192. Yeah, it's 192.168. 168.11. Don't worry, it's because it's complicated. But it's complicated.
Oh, you see me?
It's just that it just started and it was to say it's just that it's a public network, so it turns off the ability for you to be able to see each other. Yes. Yeah, huh? You're supposed to assign it manually. You are still connected to network, so you're supposed to assign it. Okay, guys. Okay. Let me see if I can pick number 5. Who's number 5? Who's number 5? You're not connected, so let's look for who's number 10? Who's number 10? Okay. Did you assign your IP address? Did you assign it? Okay, of course. Don't worry. Chiming out doesn't mean that you're not able to communicate. You're still able to communicate. If I come to Start menu, I go to Computer. I will click on Network. Okay, I will turn on my network discovery. Yes, make my profile public. So I'll be able to see some of you right now. So Gregory, try to ping me again if I will reply. I'll be able to see some of your computer as well now. Some of you that are on the network, I'll be able to see you. Yeah, I'll be able to see some of you right now. Is he replying? Is he replying?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've turned on my network and sharing. Because it was off. Yeah, it was off. So yeah, because it's network and sharing is on. Are we together? So if you go to your network there, you'll be able to see other people's network. Remember, this is a private network now, right now. Network Plus 2 has no control over this network. We are only just making use of the wireless radio. Instead of using a physical cable, we are making use of the wireless radio. So right now, we're making use of the wireless radio to communicate. You can see everybody's coming up. Because remember, I told you if you got on this place, it will ask you to turn on your network sharing. So turn it on, it will automatically allow us to see each other. So we can share folders files right now from one another. I can have a file here, I can move it to your computer, I can go to your computer, collect a file, bring it to my computer. Remember, the network we did now was we created it. It didn't come from the wireless, right? It didn't come from the DHCP server. We created it. But if we want to go to the internet, we will now need to have what? A gateway what? IP address. Are you getting me? So if we're only just going to be talking to one another right now, we don't really need a router. But if we need to go out to the internet, that is where we need what? A router. So we'll need to get a public IP address and assign it to our computer system. Guys, that is how to differentiate private IP address from what? A public what? IP address. But what we did now was to put, we configure the computer statically and what? Dynamically. Is that not correct? Let's revert back to where we were before. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to go to my network and sharing center now. So I'm going to go to change network adapter settings. So I'm going to right click on local area network connection. Some of you will right click on your normal adapter wireless connection. I will click on IP version 4. I will say properties. So now I will say obtain what? Automatically. Are you together? Are we together? And I'll click OK. I will click close. You notice our network is going to come back. Network plus 2 is going to come back. You see now. Now it's trying to you see, is my network plus 2 back? Okay, let me go and ping again. And I'll say IP config CLS to erase everything. IP config. Am I back to my previous IP address? Exactly. As long as you say obtain IP address automatically, the DHCP server now gives you what? IP address. But when you assign IP address manually, the DHCP server does not come into place anymore, right? Is it, because you're not requesting, you have an IP, so you're not a requester. But the moment you say it's obtain automatically, you now start asking, I need IP configuration. Then the DHCP server issues you what it has. So all the configuration are coming directly from the wireless, from the router now. When we reverted, those configurations were coming from us manually, but we're able to communicate. Are we together? But you see, there was a tendency that the static assignment could lead to confusion because some of us didn't remember our numbers. So it was an idea I would have been assigning somebody else's number to my computer. So you see the disadvantage of static assignment. But dynamic, I don't need any assistant. It automatically knows that if it gives me 198, it will give somebody else 199. Are we together? Okay, guys. So that's all I wanted to show you. And so end that now.